Welcome to another episode of Non-Fungible Guys. Before we get into the episode, I'd like to take a little minute to hear a word from our channel sponsor, podcast sponsor. The Developer Collective is a very first developer agency that combines NFT minting and project advisory in a custom white glove experience. The agency is founded by Nighthawk, the first recognized project advisor in the Cardano NFT space, and offers proven, vetted, doxxed NFT developers. If you want to get in touch with the Developer Collective, head over to Twitter and type in the handle at the Dev Collective, and there's no I. So at THEDEVCOLLECTVE.
But wait, there's more. They also do the Crypto Talent Marketplace. It's the first of its kind talent marketplace, serving as a meeting place for blockchain talent and project teams in need of the talent. The marketplace is currently under development and will launch later this summer. If you need to get in touch with anyone, go to @CryptoMarketPL.
Sweet. Thanks for listening to that word from our partner, and enjoy the episode. Tell us what you think. And if you're looking for more information, check the show notes. Welcome to Non-Fungible Guys. I'm Devon C. Codrington, joined by my co-host, bro-host, NFG Ryan. I think he's supposed to say his name, but I said his name. And more importantly, we've got some super amazing guests with us this week. And this is Freedom 35ers podcast, Cardano's premium signature podcast for all Cardano news and info. These guys do deep dives if you've ever listened to them. I would introduce them, but I don't know any of their names because they all have the same name. So if you're listening to this podcast, this is a podcast about crypto, NFTs, and anything in between. This is our guest this week, and we're really hyped to have them on. So I don't know, Ryan, you got anything to say? My bad.
Welcome. Thanks for being on, boys.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Appreciate the introduction and just having us onto the show. It's different, man. A podcast on top of a podcast. I love it.
Okay. Before we start, yes. Did I say they were a podcast? I did, right? Yeah, I said that, right?
You did.
I think so. If you did, it's out there now.
Okay. Everybody state your name. that's literally the first question. I was like, what are their names?
Guys, you want to do this? My name is Tommy. I go by TOMMY.
My name is TJ. I go by Lazy T.
And I am the other Tom. I go by Lavish Bear.
Holy shit. They said it exactly. They said it exactly.
We said it a few times.
26 episodes in now. Yeah, we got that down.
27 for the OGs.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh shit! It's like
this is so weird.
Oh, dude, it's just fun, man. Appreciate this. I think Ryan, man, you were the first. We came about inside of Pavio over there. This is how we got introduced, man.
That is true. I was just farting around. I'm not even in there that often, and I was just going in there looking at announcements, whatever. And then I saw you talking, and I was like, "Oh, okay, let's see." And then I clicked on your bio, and I was like, "Oh shit, there's a Cardano." And it's funny, actually. I'll start this off.
Yeah,
me and Devon. It was, I think, random. It was just a Saturday. I was at his house talking out front, dropping something off, and I was like, "You know what? We're doing this podcast." I'm like, "I don't know of any Cardano podcasts." I'm like, I know we're doing kind of the whole space with ETH and different blockchains, but I'm like, I don't know. Should we pivot to just doing mostly what we're into with Cardano? And then later that night, I'm sitting there on Discord and I run into you and I was like, oh shit, there's an actual just like strictly CNFTs. And I was like, okay, well, let's take a listen and start chatting you up. So I'm glad I did it because once I listened to you guys, I was like, holy shit, I know nothing about Cardano. I was like, all the projects and all this, like even just Wraith and like ghost chains and all, even OGs I had no idea about. Yeah. So it was a great chance meeting.
It was cool, man. Like it was like, I'm not even like, I don't even, we say what we want on this podcast, but I remember listening to your early episodes and just being like, oh, like I learned so much, like always say to Ryan, I'm like, these are the deep dive guys, man. Like they deep dive. Like if you want to know about a project, actually Like, sure, there's other, you do your own research, but like start here. You'll get the deep down from like the Tommies, and I'm just gonna call the other guy Tom. I just want to say they're all Tommy. But I know they're not. I'm sorry.
Triple T's,
right from the triple T's. Like, so yeah. How
That's
did
definitely
you?
one of the benefits of like having the longer style, you know, doing. We do upload it to YouTube. You can like watch it, but it's mainly still just a podcast. And we even hear a lot of people, because of the length, kind of put it on. It's something to watch when you're driving or on a plane or something like that, doing chores. But we can kind of go a little deeper, since we're not really kind of restricted to trying to make quick, 5-minute, 10-minute updates for the quick people just looking for flips or the basic information for the mints that week. We can kind of go a little bit deeper because we got extra time on that.
Yeah. I think the last time I listened to one of your episodes, I was shopping, and like I was in the mall for like an hour and a half, and I just pause it, be like, yeah, I'll take that, put some ketchup on that. And I just press play and like just kept on going. Cool. And the whole mall trip was that. You guys just, going into it. But okay. First official question. Who the fuck are you guys? Like who are you guys? Like, where did you guys come from? Where do you live? What do you do? Like, who are you guys?
I don't know if you want to I'll kind of roll down the set list, but like I said, we're Freedom 35ers. We're a Cardano NFT podcast. And it started just from the three of us. We were friends. We actually had a weird, not a weird group chat, but just a group chat together back in 2017 when we were getting into crypto. It might have been Tom.
It was weird at first. No, it was
a little weird, right?
Swap and
right. We were old before
steak
all
and
that,
syrup and stuff like that.
Before syrup and pancake swap and all kinds of that whole world of DeFi was a thing. We were in XRP and on Binance, and that was back in 2017. And I think that was like November-ish, and that we swore to God we were going to make it, right?
We're going to be millionaires.
And
from XRP, right?
Yeah, just from that.
And I think we were buying Tron back then. We were we were on a Binance where you had to send like a picture of your face or your like credit card, whatever it was. Like you had no idea where it was going. Yeah, they were stealing our identities, whatever it was, right? Yep. And we kind of had a crypto group chat. It went good for a little bit, and then everything kind of crashed in like that January, February of 2018. And then from there, we kind of just let it go dormant. And then TJ, I think we kind of every now and then would text an update over the years.
Over Ripple, yeah.
Yeah, and then just randomly last year, TJ starts talking to us about SafeMoon and Pancake Swap and all this stuff, and we got lost in that little world. And then eventually from there, after I played around with all these shit coins and, all the, different memes, whatever it was, started to learn, like I hadn't activated my wallet in years. So then I started doing research. I'm like, well, which one of these is going to like be the long-term play? Like, where am I going next? And started doing some research on it, and Cardano popped up, and then started looking at the fundamentals and realized how early they still were. And then I doubled down and basically liquidated all my assets into Cardano minus some XRP. And I just stumbled into CNFT.io one random night back in August last year. Started buying NFTs and talking to these guys, and our group chat started becoming about these NFTs. They looked at me like I was crazy. I had a Charmander that was a Gucci ball. That was my first CNFT that I ever bought by some random artist. And then from there, I got into the Cardano trees mint on mint day, and I minted a super rare and flipped it for 1,200 ADA. Like the day after. Oh. And that was when these guys kind of woke up and were like, yeah, so how do we do this?
Yeah, people are actually paying for these digital pictures online. Like, why don't they just copy and paste? I don't get it. Like, what's the purpose of these pictures? I didn't understand this. I was like, why don't they just copy and paste? They're gonna spend $1,000 on your picture. You just sent them. I don't get it. So tell me, he really dove deep into everything, explained to us. I'm like, all right, I can get behind this.
That's funny because I did that with Vivi. I bought it. One of their first comics and flipped it for obviously it's 3,000 gems, which is $3,000, but I can't take the money out right now.
Tom calls
you could sell it. You could sell it on eBay. I don't know if you guys have seen that. People sell their Vive like tokens on eBay.
Oh yeah, that's how the exploit works.
That's how you do it. Yeah,
people were selling it in real life.
I was gonna say Tom has a funny name for this Vivi gems. What do you call them, Tom?
Shrootbucks from
the office.
Shrootbucks.
That's like amazing.
When Dwight Schrute's a manager and he makes his own like money for a reward system.
That's hilarious.
That is perfect.
We got a Vivi for a little bit too.
TJ was our Vivi intro too over there. He got us into like the curveball stuff because I was like,
still have some gems just sitting in there. There was a mint this weekend I missed.
There's one like every day now.
Dude, 11 a.m. and like 3 p.m. I can never get them anymore. Now the bots just get them everything.
Oh my God, it was so bad.
Oh, that gets us so mad. We used to go so hard on VV. Like Ryan right here, just to throw, a little spotlight. He's a VV dolphin. Not a whale, but when it comes to the comics, man, this guy, I'm not even joking,
flipper.
man. Like
I got that first secret rare Marvel. I bought two comics and hit a common in the secret rare and then flipped the secret rare.
Yeah, but you also had literally almost every comic, and up until a month ago, you have like every single.
I have at least one issue of all of them, and then I just forget it.
Yeah, I have a good friend that has all the Bart Simpson with holding up. Not the Bart, the Homer Simpson holding up Bart skateboard one. I think it is. He has like 53 of them or whatever. He has a ton of them. The golden moments.
That's when we got into it, was the golden moments. I ended up getting the Pizza Planet truck minted that one, and then I minted the Iron Man.
Nice.
Nice. And so I still held it. I should have sold like a couple weeks ago. It was worth like 2K of those gems, and now it's back down to like 600. So I'm just letting it sit. I have no idea what's going to happen with that.
I have like 180 or something collectibles. I'm just letting it sit there.
Yeah,
I'll wait till you can take money out.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know anymore.
That wasn't even real to me. That was just like, okay, that was a fun little experiment. I'll just
because it was $60 to get in. I think at first I just put like $60 in for one.
Yeah, same.
And I was able to get in, and I mean they were flipping instantly back then for group of the price. So
we were waiting.
Now I can buy 5 of these now.
We're still waiting on money transfer license. They've been saying that it's locked in. Yeah, it is $3. You're right.
Yeah,
can't do anything about it. Like, no. And I hate to say that because, like, if you look, like VV episodes, like really, really did well for us back in the day. Like, there was like when it got really hype, we got crazy traction when anytime we dropped VV. And then if you listen towards, I'd like to say late November, we started. We almost made it. We made it to the end of one episode, and it was like, oh shoot, we didn't mention VV, and we were like, oh, what's happening? We didn't think anything of it.
Yeah.
Now. I'm crazy to find that the Cardano guys are talking about VV. This is an exclusive right here. When will you hear Freedom 35ers talking about other stuff, right?
You'll catch us. There's every now and then, like earlier last year, there is some VV segments in there. We have them snuck in, but they're buried in there. You can kind of get our little like live reaction to it, where we like dipped our toes in, and we're like, now we're gonna come back over here.
Nice.
It's funny. Oh, go ahead.
No, you're good.
No, I was gonna say it's funny how like your story basically lines up exactly with how we got started. For me, it was late 2020, early 2021. A family friend was going on about Ripple and XRP, and it's gonna go crazy and buy. So I bought a bit, and then it rocketed up a little bit, and then it came back down. But then our group chat, there's me, Devon, and 2 others. And we started, going into crypto and going into this, and then Top Shot showed up, and then started getting into that. And then what was the other one? Anyways, it just, everything you said was basically exactly the same way how ours lined up. And then Devon I always said to Devon, buy stuff, buy this, buy NFTs. And he just never listened. And then he came over one day to talk about something he's doing for a different business venture. And I brought up POAPs. And then that's where it all started for like, we need to do a podcast.
Yeah.
And
I was eating dinner at this guy's table. He mentioned POAPs, and I was like, that concept is so cool. And that was like my real, and it's crazy because like it wasn't the basic understanding of NFTs, it's the POAP, the proof of attendance protocol. And I was like, holy shit. And then I think it was right there. I was like, we're making this a podcast, and that's it. Here we are. Yeah.
So wait, I was curious. How was Ryan kind of pitching those NFTs to you early on before that? Like, what was he giving him like, it's kind of like utility? Was he explaining like why he was getting into them, or maybe like the flips he was making on them when he was
first of all, Tom, how the hell are you asking me? No, that's amazing. I love that Tom's asking
I have
us
a reason
questions.
why I'm
this is
asking.
so good.
That's why I'm curious, because you said our story's kind of parallel. That's why I was asking. There's a reason I was asking that.
That's a great case. So I'll let you know, because there's obviously Ryan didn't do a good enough job, or else I would have bought way back earlier, right? So
well, you're not a sports guy, so why would you buy?
No big deal. Okay, all right, take it easy, bro. So it was because it was sports related, where I was just like, is it about motorcycles or photography? If it's not, I don't care, right? So he was just like, it's cool, they're trading cards, and that didn't hit. But then actually, I was into crypto already, just not the NFT stuff. So the XRP stuff, I had already purchased that, and we were talking about when he talked about crypto, I listened. So that I started earlier. Like I did get into crypto way early, and that was cool. But the NFTs, honestly, the only thing that clipped for me was when he flipped that Thor magazine or Thor comic or whatever. And then I got in, but then I was only in VV, not doing anything else. And then it was POAPs. So VV, he talked about, he's like, well, this is the comic. And like, literally it was only because I could actually read the comic and I like comics. So I was just like, oh, cool. Like I can do this. And I was like, you flipped it, you made money. I get it. Cause to me, VV was like Top Shots, but something I cared about, so that's kind of how it came.
Yeah. And then,
but then when he talked
was the utility.
Yeah. And POAP showed utility. And I was like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, you get this, like, this NFT that lives and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, why is it a protocol? And you're like, well, because it's on the blockchain. And I was just like, get the fuck out. And at that point, then, spit out whatever food I was eating. And then we started a podcast like the next week.
That's interesting. The utility part on the blockchain, that's kind of what kind of started bringing me and TJ in, because early on, it wasn't that we weren't interested like the NBA NFTs. It was the first one Tommy said like was a Charmander with a Gucci ball. And he's like, I just thought it looked cool. And I just seeing how it worked. I just like made a wallet. I got the ADA in. I was just kind of seeing how it worked. It wasn't an official project or anything. It was just a picture and he did it. But then the second one, he followed it up. And it was like, oh, I bought this one because it was my birthday. The number, like, nice. Right. Like, I don't know. You're like my grandpa playing the lottery, like my birthday. But also at the same time, that was a CBIT, like you got there.
It was a Cardano bit. That was my second one.
All the way back then, like we didn't know what those were or anything, but it was just like, oh, you bought it because it was your birthday. That's I'm not going to spend money.
That was the only reason I bought it.
We were secretly concerned for him.
Yeah, it's just like Tommy's gonna lose all his money doing this.
The problem was that, like I said, I got into it and I had 1,200 ADA. That's all I started with in my Yoroi wallet back then, and I was minting off of CNFT.io or buying off of CNFT.io back then. And I think I drained my wallet of 1,200 ADA in about 2 weeks.
Oh man,
just straight on NFTs. Like the whole thing just went down. And at one point I was really just looking at myself. I'm like, this is a problem right now. Like, it's bad. Like this is not good right now. And that was like the time where I one of the biggest mistakes I made in my early CNFT, but I didn't know anything about it, was when Space Buds at that time were sitting around like a 600 ADA floor. And I was wrestling with myself for some reason, wanting to purchase one. And I had my hand on the buy button and I didn't pull the trigger, and instead went with another project called BitPunk back in the day, which they looked almost identical to CryptoPunks on Ethereum. And at that time, that's when Visa had just bought the CryptoPunk for like 170 grand or something back in that day.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And that was big news. So I went with that route and I spent 800 ADA on this BitPunk and passed up on the 600 ADA Space Bud. And that obviously turned out to be a terrible decision, but I did profit. I did sell that thing for 1,000 ADA and was able to get my money back. But it was a tough road from there, but that enabled me to get into a lot of different mints. Like I said, like the Cardano trees and things like that, which eventually led us to getting, I think when Tom and TJ first got into it was right around when Claymation minted. That was about the first big one that we all did. But Tom has a fun story about that too, about how he passed up on clays for another project.
I didn't pass up on
I love every time Tommy says that, Tom's like, I didn't pass up on him.
What happened?
I mean, I guess not on purpose. It was like chosen for me. I was waiting on one of the exchanges to get my ADA into my wallet. So it was back then, everything too was just selling so well. We were about a week away from when they started not really selling well, or even then a week later, like not selling out 10K projects. But right then when we first got in, I think it was a weekend mint, but I just didn't have my ADA yet in my wallet. There's nothing I could do. Is stuck between the transactions, and then I ended up getting dogs on the chain for the first one, which I mean, you couldn't even sell one of those now. Like, they just didn't go anywhere. But then we got Yummy. I think TJ and me both had Yummies. Or TJ, you did get a dog on the chain, I think, and sold it.
Yeah, I just getting one of everything.
But then, then your third one right there was Yummy. We were in Yummy right away. But it was really that tree that Tommy sold, just like the big sale from that Cardano tree, or like, because we had also come from the crypto side, like you guys had. So our main focus was just the money. Like, we can flip these and make 100%. A lot of money. That's easy. Like, we didn't know anything about the Discords and the communities and a lot of the other utility, because we also didn't believe in NFTs at the time. We thought they were just like, this is just, I'm doing this because it's hyped up right now and I can make a lot of money.
Yep.
So we kind of said, Tommy, like, let's do $1,200. Like, hey, Friday night, let's do a little Wallet 101. Teach us how to do this. You can get on Discord live stream
doing this.
And little training session. So he started showing us then how to just do it ourselves.
Yeah.
And through that, you guys, I mean, TJ and our other buddies that were doing it were like, oh, Tom, you're pretty good at this. Like, why don't you like do a YouTube channel or something? That'd be pretty sweet. You know, you're making a lot of money. You should do a YouTube channel. It was kind of one of those things where I think, you know, it's a lot of work solo.
Yeah.
Plus I just couldn't imagine it myself, like not having these two guys like to kick stuff off, or, you know, even helping with the research and communication, Discord and all that kind of stuff. So I think he just kind of was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do all that, but we kind of just kept talking more. I don't really know why we pushed it, but we're just like, there's not at least a long format podcast that just does NFTs on Cardano. And also there's a lot of people that were doing solo shows. Even back then, there was a couple already that had kicked off on YouTube. So just kind of had that competition. If you're going to do these like 10-minute updates, and then the bigger, you know, crypto names too, you'd be competing with on YouTube. And ended up just one night, like, let's just start recording. Let's record and put it up and see what happens. Like, we just got to do it and start it.
And that's where our test episode, as we call it now, our episode 0 came from, which is where we kind of reference our, for the OGs, like we're on episode 26, we just recorded. So, but it's technically episode 27 because we did an episode 0 out there. So that's always the joke we always have in the beginning of our intros. But if you listen back to that and you look at that, we all have random ass backgrounds. I think Tom had it's fine. The little dog sitting in a chair with the fire burning around him. Like he had that as his background. I had like a blurred background. I was using the mic on my headset, and TJ the next week after we recorded was like, dude, go actually put a camera on.
I linked a mic. I linked a camera. I was like, please just buy this right now.
He's literally sent me the Amazon link, and I just clicked buy. And he's like, did you buy it? And I'm like, yeah, I bought it. And the following week we were like, all right, so this is like happening. And we kind of got into our podcast. And then from there, like Tom, you had some like graphic, like editing experience in that, and started kind of tapping into it. And then it's crazy to see the evolution of where we started versus where we are even currently. Of like the visuals, like it's always been about the podcast, like you said, the audio, but it's now turned into like almost a show at this point. So we kind of pride ourselves, and so it's been fun, man.
It's fun watching the evolution, actually, like you were saying, just like you went from just stills and now there's animation.
A rocket flying around. I love that. I also love how you guys just told that story, because like it's honestly, I know we've already said it, but it's literally like if Ryan wasn't able to do it, if Ryan didn't convert his home theater basement setup into our studio, it would never happen. I wouldn't be able to do it without him. Not a chance. Like it's a grind. We're allowed to say that word.
For
right?
Sure.
It's not a Discord. It's a grind. And it's like, you know, I think the thing I said to Ryan, I was like, listen, we're going to do a podcast and this is our goal. We have to make it past 8 episodes.
Yeah,
because
8 episodes was our
I looked at the stats, but before I did, I knew I wanted to do a podcast. This is actually the 3rd podcast I've done, and like the first one crashed and burned. The second one's doing its thing, but like, and I remember just looking at the stats and going through things and being like, this is not going to be easy to continually do it, to grow. And I was like, let's do 8 episodes, and here we are.
What are we, 36?
This is episode 36. You know what I mean?
Awesome. Nice, man.
But it's so crazy to see someone in the space like at the same time. We're like podcast bros.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we didn't know we were bros. Like, we just, you know, that connection was made, right? Like that Pavia Discord was meant to happen. Because I'll be honest with you, I've been in the Pavia Discord probably a handful of times since that interaction. I'm not online. Like, I just haven't made it back in there. Yeah. So that was just a random chance of luck that we got a chance to meet Ryan. So that's really cool to hear your guys' story. What I guess for you guys, when did you guys when was your first like episode? Did you guys start?
Tommy, you just gave like a 22 Jump Street like quote from the movie, like, we didn't know we were bros and now we're bros.
Can we just become best friends?
Yeah.
You want to do karate in the garage? Yep.
Shake and bake, baby.
There you go.
Oh man, I love that movie. Our first episode was that September 18th or 15th or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say September 14th, maybe, but yeah, it was in September last year. So we've doubled up a couple weeks. We actually thought it's funny how we've kind of evolved too, in the sense of we started off, we're gonna go, okay, let's do 1 episode a week and let's bank a couple.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I forgot about like this.
3 or 4 banked, and then we were like, we're going chugging along, and I'm like, man, we have to do it like. Do the episode Wednesday, drop it Thursday, because this space just moves so fast.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't bank it, but we're talking about something from 3 weeks ago in a recorded episode. No one, it's already minted, it's sold out, it's rug pulled.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
it went through the whole cycle by the time you got
it. Totally did. That was hilarious. I do remember that happening. And
there was that Cardagos.
Yeah.
I minted it. It was like it rugged and it was everything. And within like 10 days or something stupid. But
so we just actually ended up dropping everything we had banked. We just dropped them like one day after another.
Yeah, because I think it was like 3 in a week.
Yeah, and some of them were literally almost they were out of date. So yeah, we definitely had to change up how we approach things. It was pretty crazy. I forgot all about that, man.
I was literally just talking to Tommy or TJ, one of you two, about that. Maybe we're all three in there. Because there's another podcast I listen to where there's no like topic at all, no format. And they can do that. Like during the winter, they'll go stay at a cabin for like 2 months and just hang out. And I don't know, play like Settlers of Catan and just chill as like 3 guys like hanging out.
Yeah.
And then they're able to do that though. Like one of them's a comedian, he'll be on the road traveling, so they'll just record 5 episodes in like a day.
Yeah,
right.
And they're good to go for the next 5 weeks. That guy can go do his like little tour and then come back and they can record again. And I was like, that'd be so nice to be able to sometimes stack up some episodes. Oh man,
it'd be
like
so
we could
easy.
just take a Saturday and knock out like 3 or 4 episodes, but it'd be, like you said, you could look at the calendar and talk about some things, but especially the big news, like something like Snoop Dogg and the Clay connection and all that. That just happened like, out of nowhere. It's like you would have had an episode come out that was recorded 2 weeks ago. You've been screwed.
Yep. Hey, you even drop an episode and like that day you drop it that you've already recorded. It's like Snoop comes out or Clay Papers out or Yummies. What was the one you guys recorded? It was like the light paper or something came out. Like
we did
now actually. Yeah.
We did our worst one that we did was literally because we record on Wednesday nights and we release on Friday. That gives Tom a day to do his editing, right? You would think that seems to be okay. And the night we finished up recording, everything was good to go. We had some good topics, and then Thursday happens, and the Clay news happens with Snoop Dogg, and we just looked at him. We're like,
son of a bitch.
Dude. Come on. And we had to wait a whole week to give an update on that. We were just like, man, like nobody even cares what we just said. Like,
don't worry, I listened. I was appreciating. I know you guys talked about it. You guys were like, well, here you're gonna get all the info, and I was like, I appreciate this still. So it was good, guys.
I think we ended up getting lucky. We recorded that night that it had come out that day, so we were lucky there. But so for you guys, like. How do you guys, I guess, as a group, or do you kind of just follow, say Tommy comes out with he's done the deep dive, so you guys are just taking his word, but how do you decide what's a good project in a sense? Like, what do you look for in a project?
You usually look for like the team, the Discord, and the community around it. And it's just obviously there's a lot of buzz on Twitter about them too. We're looking a little deeper on them. We also have like a sheet we use too for the topics we're going to go over the week. We kind of discuss amongst the 3 of us. All right, do you want to talk about this one? I don't really know much about them. Do you know about them? If you do, okay, cool. We'll talk about them, type of thing. That's kind of how we go over projects and choose what topics we're going to choose.
I was going to say, TJ, you've been adding on pretty much like most of the calendar of stuff that catches our eye for like things that are minting. And then
the sheets, it
usually comes down to night of, depending on also the other things we're recording that night. Kind of what we finalize as topics, and we have to start cutting stuff to make time because, like you said, more news comes out. Like he'll do that Sunday or Monday, and then 2 other huge updates will come out that are going to be our white paper that's going to take 25 minutes to go over. So we got to cut 2 things now. And then as far as finding, I mean, Tommy definitely gets to do he does a lot of Discords, like as far as sitting in there and talking with them to get more information, and then also making the connections to kind of get that information. Those guys all sharing it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, a lot of the times, of course, the art catches our eye first, especially on Twitter. People retweeting stuff. So members of the community we've been around long enough now where you build those people you follow, you kind of know their names and know what they've done as far as the projects they've endorsed or at least like kind of opened your eyes to in the past. So you kind of get those people you follow, and then you kind of do your research after that and look into them a little bit more. Which isn't even always foolproof. Like they're a big one that I'm actually very disappointed about just because I like the art so much. That just happened was the Gizmos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I saw that over Twitter, right?
Yeah, I really like their art. I thought it was very cool, the little 3D like Game Boy looking ones. And that was one that just caught our eye because of the art. I like comparing it to like Block Owl just because it was one I just loved the art so much. I was, as far as whatever they had a lot more promise as far as utility on the Gizmos. But I was only into it for the art. I really just liked the art. And then they said they couldn't continue. So they're kind of giving refunds out.
I actually was saying, I think I said it in the Discord that I'd almost minted that night, the night before they made the announcement.
Yeah.
And I just didn't end up pulling the trigger for whatever reason. Because I think I was looking at it and you needed like upgrades parts.
Yeah.
I was like, the upgrade parts were
gains, way... whole thing, I think.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. So I was like, do I want to get it? I was like, I'll sleep on it, and then the next day.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, I always feel like for me, like getting into it back in the day, I had no clue. There's no rhyme or reason. I was literally going to whenseennft.com or IO, whatever the website was, and just checking the calendar. What's minting? Like there was a point early enough where I could keep up with every single project that was on there, and I was probably minting it back then, and I would flip it. Like that was where I was at. And then it got to a point where there was just like way too much. And then you start to see like the sketchy projects start to make their way in. That was like September of last year. And then that's where things like you knew it wasn't sustainable. Like there's no way it was going to last. And we hit like that wall. It felt like at the end of like September, like October of last year, where that's where things started to take like a nosedive. Like you really had to start being selective about how you pick the project. So that kind of like you learn those lessons early on, right? We all have our projects. We call them our graveyard. I think at one point we even talked about doing what we called the dump back in the day. And that dump never actually happened. I think somebody ended up doing it or whatever it was. But basically like just donating like a donation to all the dumped out NFTs that never made it, or whatever.
You can't sell in any of the stores.
Yeah.
Not even that they have like a 5 floor, like they don't even sell.
Like you can't get rid of them if you wanted to. Like just get it out of my wall.
The last one was sold in December.
Yeah. So we got through those kind of projects, and think of like nowadays too, like it really does come down to like you build a following on Twitter. I think the biggest thing for anybody new entering a space is find some people inside the community that you trust. Look to, if there are influencers out there, like just because they have thousands of followers or whatever subscribers, that doesn't necessarily mean that they know what the hell they're talking about. Like really go get to know them in a Discord, get to, like you said, either Twitter or not Instagram. God, we're Instagram. What is that anymore?
Instagram, people still do that?
Yeah, I hate Instagram for NFTs. It's ridiculous.
It's so bad. And to the point now is just, follow who, I have like a set list. Like if I see a new project minting, like obviously I'm going to go click on it, see who follows it. If it's anybody who I kind of trust, like TJ was saying, then I'm like more inclined to go ahead and join it. But I'll be honest with you, I think I'm maxed out on my Discord. It's like the amount that you can have, like 200. So
I don't believe that.
Not at all. Like even obvious.
So I had to stop doing that, and it got to a point where I had to like detach myself because there were so many things minting now that I'm really selective with my mints. Like I'd rather go for the projects that are building and hold on to those. Like I'm probably the hoarder of the group of us.
Oh my God. Anytime you ask someone what to do, just say, hold it, bro. Just hold it. No, I want to make some money. Finally. What am I doing with all this? I don't want all of this art. I want to sell something.
One of our buddies is exactly like that. He's like, oh, I got a clay. I got this. but I don't want to sell. And I'm like, well, how are you going to make money back?
Right? So I'm saying.
I'm like, there's more to it. I'll be honest with you, I have started to offload a lot of different things, and some at the wrong times. Like I sold a Disco Solaris at 98 right before they jumped to 500 a floor. I've made my mistakes on certain things too, and even being like a veteran, I guess, considered whatever that may be in this space, being around long enough, you make those mistakes too. So there's always that risk of like that hold period. Like if you buy in the beginning and you plan on holding, like hold for the long term, because you're eventually going to wait to see that return. But if you just want to flip, like get in that mentality of like, that's what you're going to do. Don't attach yourself to that NFT. And that's why sometimes I don't even join Discords anymore, because I don't want to post about that photo that I just minted, because then now I feel guilty. I just sold it like right down the list, especially now the more that people get to know you. It's like, hey, you just sold your project that you were just talking about. It's like,
I've thought about that recently too. I'm like, oh, I keep going in all these Discords. I'm building, like there was a couple that I got into, and it's like the community kept me there, and I'm like, fuck. Like I guess I can't really sell these now.
No
We've talked about
that.
So then I was like, well, Ryan, I'm like, right, offload it to me. It's still in me, and I'll offload it quietly, but I feel bad. And the thing is, I am the worst. Like I my model is stupid. It's ridiculous. I buy random shit. And I don't sell anything, like anything. I just keep on adding more ADA, or I'll convert my Bitcoin or my Ethereum. And like Ryan's like, listen, dude, like I haven't added, and I'm good. And I'm like, you do you, I'll do me. It's so bad. And then but then there's a couple times where I'm like, okay, yeah, I definitely should have been moving things around. So I'm like, hey man, Ryan, I'll stake you. It's cool. Here, just take this. So we have a communal wallet that the show works out of, and we kind of work there. But I'm the worst. I don't want to. I feel like my attachment is. It's pretty bad. I'm that ex-girlfriend that keeps on calling back. We're not dating. And I'm like, okay, well, you want to go to the movies? And you're like, fine. And I just keep them calling.
It's like Wolverine holding that Spider-Man picture. He just like looks at it with his hand on it.
I would say I'm definitely the stage 5 clinger. I have
stage 5 clinger right here.
Like that's 600 awesome. Of those things are still just hanging in there. Like you said, probably can't sell half of them, but it's fine.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Some of them just haven't sold, because there's times where we'll like bring up a mint in a show, like, hey, this is going to mint coming up after, when you're listening to the show, it'll be coming up. And then the next episode, we'll have it on the list, maybe to do a follow-up of that mint because we minted it. And it's like, yeah, but I already flipped it. So I don't want to bring it up, because then it's just like, I don't have it anymore. So that's what, I mean, you were saying, how do we kind of choose mints? It also depends, like Tommy was saying, he's looking for a lot of quality now. There is plenty of projects where we look like, as far as long-term, especially because we already hold so many projects from the September to December that we're still waiting on them to develop now. They had all the roadmap and the whitelist, and we're waiting to see that actually play out now. So it's kind of tough to get into some of those new projects that are advertising or offering the same thing, even if it seems like they have utility, when it's like, I'm still waiting on something from 6 months ago. So you know what I mean? I'm kind of wary to get into another one that's now promising the same thing. How far down the road is this going to be? But then you also see the ones that are, you can kind of follow the hype sometimes, like, where it's not necessarily a project like, oh, I think the utility is great, or I even like the art, I don't care about this and I normally wouldn't look at it, but there's so much hype surrounding it and so many people that seem like they're going to be degening into this. I have to give it a second look. And then mint day comes, it's like, I think that the hype's there for me to spend 40 ADA and get that, 120, 180 flip or whatever out of it. So we do see those,
profit.
Yeah, because you can help build your wallet up, and then you can take those and we've done it where we'll buy those and then roll them into some of the Narus, like the seasonal Narus, so that we can get more burns. Or there's plenty of other projects that you actually believe in that you get this bonus free ADA essentially for minting and then just reselling in the same day, and then go add it into the actual ones you believe in on top of that, and just kind of increase your wallet that way.
It's funny listening to, because you guys are very into Yummy. And I remember the day that they were minting, our other buddy that's in our group is Burns. He was like, hey, these have a lot of hype behind them. Let's jump on the mint. Yeah, see, there you go. You got the t-shirt and everything.
Look at that. That's awesome.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, all four of us tried to mint. And me and Burns hit. Yeah. And it was like, I was heartless. It was like a one-night stand. I got it. I was like, you're gone. See you later. I flipped it right away, and I don't even remember, like, what was the mint? I read the original,
like 50, 40 to 50, something like that.
I might have flipped it for like 90. Like, it was nothing. I just quick flip.
Hey,
I didn't even
profit.
I ate in. I knew nothing.
I like TJ. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
But now I'm like, damn, listen to you guys talk about it. I'm like, shit, I probably should have held on to it. But again, it's like, I didn't want to get married to it. So it's like, flipper's going to flip, right?
That's it. There you go. Flippers be flipping.
Oh, Tom, did your best buddy that who's same way. He uses no attachment to NFTs.
I don't think he's ever held on to one.
He flips them automatically.
Like right when the floor goes
within the hour.
He sells it. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like, it doesn't matter. He doesn't care at all. He's just like,
no attachment.
Didn't he? What was his quote that he said to Yummy? Because he did the same thing.
I feel like I made a mistake or something. What did he say?
No, I made a huge mistake. From Arrested Development. It's,
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
That's hilarious. Okay, I got a really basic question. Who picked the name and what does the name mean? Because I can tell you what I think, and I'm like, I don't.
You guys might know, actually. You guys
before you explain it, we explain it. Yeah, what do you guys think?
Okay, so when I looked at the name, I was like, is this really what this is about? I think of Freedom 55, where they're like, we want you to retire. There's like a commercial about that we see all the time, and it's like Freedom 55. It's like,
invest with Canadian us. Thing. I don't think we've
seen it's like,
it's some big commercial.
Yeah,
like
so
growing up.
Play on that must be even deeper in the joke that I never knew, because
I brought this up to other people, and like I swear, only maybe it's a
must
Canadian
be Canadian to think.
Well, it is, because it's from the Trailer Park Boys, which takes place up in Canada,
right?
And they must be playing on the Freedom 55, which I just never knew of, but their plan is called Freedom 35. I mean, they're trying to I think.
Retire.
Trying to grow a bunch of weed and sell it back to prison guards or something like that. That's their version of Freedom 35, but they're going to retire. So their plan is to retire at 35. That's just what we call the group jack, because we saw how much money was being made on Bitcoin,
right?
And then, like we said, hey, we're getting an XRP like at 13 cents, so let's ride this to the top. We'll be good to go.
That's awesome.
Quit my job. No.
That's what it's based on. It's based on a Canadian commercial. And
I literally just Googled it, and it's all like Freedom 55, Canada's most memorable
I have to look that up.
Oh, it's a crazy ad campaign. Like everyone knows it. And it's like,
I'll send you guys a link.
It's like it's like, I save now so that I can retire later. I'm living my life now. And it's like Freedom 55. You want to live? And I'm like, what the hell? So yeah, I literally looked at this and I'm like, did these guys really name their podcast on that commercial? That's literally what I thought it was.
Oh my God.
That's funny. Yeah. That's what
But-
first thing I saw.
But the thing is, I understood it right away. I was like, yeah, like you'll get there. So that's so I get the meaning, but that's what it's based on.
That's really funny. I'm not Tom. You have a deeper root because me and TJ had I've never watched Trailer Park Boys.
Oh, great show.
So when he like introduced us to it, he just named it. I think you named it, Tom. Freedom
Yeah,
35.
yeah, exactly.
And we were just like, okay, sure. And then once we got the reference, it was just like, okay, that makes sense. And then when we went to do the podcast, we were trying to think of names like but our group chat was always Freedom 35. So it was like, that makes sense. We're like, but I don't know where the copyright falls into that. Like, I don't want it. What if this does get big? Like, what do we do if it, So we were like, well, we're Freedom 35ers. And then
There you go.
we added that on and made that ours. And I mean, I don't know, like I said, I don't think they can. I mean, we could be Freedom 55ers, Freedom 45ers, whatever we want to be, but it just stuck. And then all of us are all under 35. So it just worked.
I hope not Freedom 55ers.
Yeah,
No,
I'll be so pissed.
Right?
Oh, man, I'll be so pissed.
But yeah, it stuck like that, and we just decided to go with that name. And if it
takes to 55 though, that means that XRP would be like doing what we thought it was going to do by then, right? So
Oh my God,
yeah, we'll be XRP rich at that time. Okay, so let's do like a little kind of like off-chain shit. So out of Cardano. Is there anything you guys actually do look into on the side? Like, I know that we talked about XRP a little bit, but there are any other like cryptos that you guys buy or like that you're looking for? Do you have like this Freedom 30? Here's my real question: is Freedom 35ers, are they diversified around like, or is you guys all in Cardano?
We used to be, I'd say, like more diversified, and now like we're kind of tunnel visioned right now. I'd say like I've been slowly branching out a little bit more. I have a good friend who has a YouTube channel. Well, he has a lot of subscribers, and he does a lot of altcoins and stuff. So I've been trying to get in touch with him and another friend of mine who also does YouTube channel with altcoins. I've been trying to dip my toes in that a little bit, but I'm still very, very focused on the Cardano side right now and the NFTs. I mean, of course, I would like to branch out, right? Different means of income in a sense, but as of right now, pretty much, just Cardano NFTs.
The show kind of takes so much of our time. It doesn't like I that's what we pretty much would used to do with the time we now kind of sink into the show. Yeah. So we all work full-time jobs and everything too. So then in the afternoons when we're either planning or working on the show, doing stuff like this, like getting to come on your show or arranging like sit downs for our own show. It just takes up all that time. And then you kind of get after a while, I can't be sitting on my computer any longer and looking at my phone. I need to go outside or something. So it just ends up eating up all the time. I'd love to get more into it. We've kind of like you said, just tunnel vision now into Cardano because we're always just thinking about like the next week's episode, the next topics and stuff like that.
Yeah, I would say I was very diversified going into the summer last year prior to me jumping into it. And like I said, I liquidated almost all my assets into Cardano. I held a little XRP, and I think I had like maybe V-Chain or
V-Chain.
I had H-Bar for a little bit too. I was holding that. So I was on a little BNB kind of kick over there, just learn how to with Trust Wallet and all that stuff, just learn how to mess around with things like that. And then once I found the NFTs, I got lost, man. Like I deep dived into them. The last few, like everything became about that. Like, how can I get the most ADA possible was how I was at. Cause I was just thinking long-term, I'm like, Cardano is going to be the future. Like eventually, whether it's 10, 15 years from now, this will be one of the blockchains, the platforms where everybody's operating on because they're doing it right. They're taking their time. They're not just rushing it out to get it out to be the first. Their goal isn't to be the most profitable coin. Their goal is to actually have real world utility. So that's kind of where I wanted to park where my big investment was. The NFTs were just an accelerated route. And I saw like a good stat into that of like, because people are always like, you can stake your Cardano. That's great. You can make anywhere from 3 to 5%. That's awesome for you guys can do that. But I'm like, I don't want my ADA just sitting in my wallet. I can go buy an NFT and flip it for 50% like 2 days later. Where can you get that kind of return? Even in these liquidity pools and farming stuff like that, there's risk involved with that. Like, so my thought was just like, why not just play the NFT market? And I saw it, and I got burned by Ethereum back in the day with my MetaMask got locked up with
that's funny.
It's still locked.
I can't get I have an Angel Baby hit squad
wallet. It's like the creditor.
It's not your wallet anymore, that's for sure.
He owes like 100 like Ethereum right now.
I have an Angel Baby hit squad that is locked away in my Ethereum wallet that luckily still gets the airdrops, but I can't get it out. It's
What
just
After
happened?
you pay the
man?
toll troll, yeah.
it's just the transactions for whatever happened, they got beat out and I needed to speed up the gas. But when I needed to speed up the gas, the for whatever reason, it won't go through. I couldn't push the gas high enough. I got like one day I got lost in trying to actually mint another
Full
card,
day of it.
like a full day of MetaMask. I was in there and I forget what even they were. I was like, I don't know if there's nodes. There was some rant. I forget the name of what it was, but I was manipulating the data in my thing to try to force the gas to push through in order for me to be able to like clear my transactions. And so I have stuck like failed transactions. So I can't actually mint anything in that wallet right now. So if I want to send my Angel Baby, I actually sent it to Recover My Wallet in Trust Wallet. I tried to send it and it blocked me from doing it because I needed to clear the gas through whatever that transaction. So I just have a locked wallet. I'm not paying hundreds of dollars to force the gas to go through just to get my thing. So
Breathe that angel, baby.
yeah.
Just wait till Ethereum goes up in price someday, and then you're going to be like thousands of dollars to force that through.
So I got burned like with that, and then I go back to Cardano, and it's just like, if my transaction fails, I can just go right back, and I'll do it again real quick, like no problem. So that's why I've always held into this. I actually just bought in recently when the Ape coin hype went up for the Bored Apes. I bought in when I missed the announcement. I knew it was happening, and I saw it rise, and it dropped down like it hit like $7 or somewhere in that range. And I loaded up a little bit down there, and then it like doubled, and I was like, ooh, more ADA, and I just converted it back to ADA. And awesome. And I was like, I got a new mint this week, and
money.
Exactly. So I don't really diversify. I hold I think I still have a little XRP, but it's like a minor bag, and but I am looking to start dropping some stuff back into that. It's just, I've been lost in this world too.
It's a lot to be into NFTs. You gotta put a lot of time and effort in, especially like doing the research and building the community. I remember the first time we came over to Cardano and minting, I was like, what do you mean? Hold on. I got to send my ADA to this random wallet address and just trust something's coming back to me. I'm like, what the fuck? What is going on? Yeah, it was so sketchy.
Super.
Now we're a long way from that, I guess, in a sense. Now, I guess it seems like the big problem is going to be sites crashing or not being able to handle the load for the mints.
Some of the bigger ones have been coming through lately, though. They've been showing up. Clay worked well for their mints. They looked really good.
Yep.
So they've been kind of holding strong, but it is something we've seen in the past. They're like, oh, this is a great system. You just click the button, it reserves your spot. I got like 10 minutes to mint. Cool. All right, mint time. Oh, no, website's down. Oh, they're sold out. Fantastic.
Those models,
okay, come again.
The model's changing. Like everything is a lottery now, and like I think that's how it's going to be. And then the vending machine works on the other end because we're not going to be able to.
A lot of whitelists playing in there too.
You look at Ethereum, right? Because they've already gone through this cycle of this. Like they've gone, and everything over there. That's why you see whitelist. Everybody wants to know how to get into the whitelist when they come over here from ETH, and it makes sense why they're doing it because no one's found the solution to a fast, sustainable website where it's essentially first come, first serve or a good reserve queue system. But when you got 100,000 people on some of these big mints trying to press the same button at the same time and connect a blockchain to it, it seems like that technology just gets killed right now still to some degree.
It's funny you say that about the whitelist. I was going to bring that up, saying that it seems like whitelists are going to be a lot more popular with Cardano because of that, the ETH people coming over, and that's what they're used to. Because gas fees over like an ETH is just ridiculous, and it's like I'm not paying thousands of dollars for a $12 item, but that's what they're used to. And it seems like if Cardano doesn't figure out that, then maybe we sorry.
I'll pick up where he left off. Cardano doesn't figure that out, then maybe we're gonna have to. Oh, he's not back yet. Okay, he's doing stuff. Well, I was gonna talk about the fact that same load problem is what we're gonna have is a bit of an issue with the metaverse, I think. And I'm wondering about how we're gonna deal with that. I feel like Ryan, you're right there, buddy. Forget it. It's an audio podcast. It's cool. He'll be back. I'll be back.
Don't worry.
He's doing a lot of push-ups right now. It's his timer went off. He needs to work out.
Get the blood flowing.
He's doing a whole bunch of push-ups.
Sorry, man.
I don't mind the whitelist. I just don't like the whitelist grinding. I actually like the lottery.
Yeah, for the whitelist. I'm totally. I was going to agree. I actually like the lottery sucks though because it's like you win, you don't, and like you wish there's something you can do outside of like having already been in it, but the earlier ones that are in there get rewarded, and that's kind of how it goes, right? Your time will come if you stay in. So
I like the balance between the two, right? Like the whitelist grinding's fine if you're like engaged in the community, but there's, you know, level 15, 16 into a project. I'm like, dude, I don't got time of day, let alone even if I was interested in it, like that is such a time commitment just to get in there. And is that, you know, is 10, 12 hours of my life really worth what that thing's going to be worth? You know, like 100%. What is that? What is my time? Right.
I can't even keep their own Discord. I come in like an 8-hour spurts of just like talking to you guys, and then I'm back away again.
So with the whitelist, like one thing I'd like to see is, because I know there's, you know, Ethereum, they have projects that are full only whitelist. Like you can't get it unless you're on the whitelist. That's it. It's exclusive to whitelist, and you do have to grind to level 25 for 3 weeks before, and it's all about how many invites you get or paying $50 to boost a server on Discord. And for like some of the big projects, these ones I think of like recently, like I know we had Clay. I know we got the Ape Society Cabins coming up, and they have, you know, whitelists for certain holders, and they have like certain stipulations, but they're also still trying to keep like the community coming in, you know, which just makes sense. It'd be dumb. You know, Ethereum has enough money and enough people in it, I think, still to do those kind of things where they get enough hype behind projects, they can sell out whitelists. Where I like kind of these where they're like, no, we want to get as many people into these as possible, and kind of keep spreading that out and just get our name out there as much, you know, as we can to kind of boost the market.
Definitely. I appreciated what Clays did recently. Like you said, they were inclusive. Obviously, they took care of their main holders, and you know, so the 1-to-1 whitelist, and then they opened that third area that was all raffle, and it was weighted towards some people. But I thought for the most part, it was a pretty fair distribution the way they did that. Even Ape Society now, the whitelist tokens, you know, they're doing tons of giveaways for those, and then the public mint is going to happen, or you can register on the website for like overexposed, say, like that's dropping tomorrow. That's a huge one. Everybody had a fair chance at getting in, and it was a little bit of luck of the draw.
Chance. Yeah, your luck is ridiculous, dude.
I was that is one of my questions.
That's literally is that our next question?
No, it's on there. How I wrote down, Tommy, how the hell are you so lucky?
Yeah, right? Let's fucking talk about that.
Yeah, he has his whitelist mint and the public when no one else got shit. This guy has two.
Well, I wanted to ask that. How did everyone do for overexposed? I didn't get
I got nothing.
Because I was talking to Ryan, right? And I was like, and he was like, well, if I get it, and I was like, Ryan, stop that shit. Let's think positive. I'm like, I've got it. I'm gonna get it. Don't worry about it, man. Like, register my wallet. So when I talked to him, I'm like, yeah. So when I meant that, I'll do it. And then I didn't get it. And then the rest of our group, Ryan got it. And then the other dude, who's like the busiest one of them all, who just pops in and like buys some shits, flips it, and is out. Yep. He got it too. So
nice. I got lucky.
Yeah.
I screwed up my 35 millimeter roll. I because I'm in Nomies and I had a tree of life and there was a whole thing. I was in the Discord before they even opened it. And so I had a
35 millimeter roll before it even.
Yeah. So
you didn't mint your mechanism?
I fucked that mint up. So
that's a hard
I saw it was March. What was it? It was March 1st or the end of March.
It was
mint.
It was maybe beginning of March somewhere.
I think it was beginning of March. Yeah, it was
February 1st because it was that.
Yeah. So
you tell it, your story.
February 28th there, and I'm like, okay, I got March 1st. I forgot about time zones. I'm laying in bed. I'm like,
are you guys in the time? Are you in the daylight savings time?
We're in the same time zone as you guys, but it gets better. It gets better. What happened, Ryan?
I was like, okay, March 1st, midnight, whatever. I'm like, it's 7:00, I think, at my or 7:15 my like Eastern Standard Time. I'm laying in bed. I'm like, all right, let's go mint this thing. Log on. I see everyone talking mint over mint. I'm like, oh, you fucking kidding me? I'm like, no, I didn't just miss it. So I'm talking and I'm like, yeah, you missed it by like 16 minutes.
Man.
Yeah, I screwed it up big time. And then
because it listed UTC.
Yeah, you know what? I got lazy. I just didn't look at the freaking time zone. I just saw March 1st and figured, oh, that's like 8 hours away. And then
I've missed like 4 Aeonium Skies mints because of the freaking UTC shit.
Yeah.
I used to always Google it, but for whatever reason, that mint, I always mess up the time every single time. Oh god.
Yeah.
I'm like, is it 4 hours? Is it 5 hours?
It's 4 hours.
Right now we're in 4, but before we had to like adjust times. That definitely screws people up.
That screwed me up.
Tommy missed the Grumpy Bunny. I know.
I just stick with Google.
Super happy with you. Yeah.
Grumpy Bunny makes fun of me all the time.
I appreciate the Discords that put it where it's in your time zone.
Yeah, I need a bot like that.
It's easy. I'll show you in your guys' Discord how to do it. It's super easy.
Yeah, we could definitely use help with that. We're mastering certain things, but there's certain things in the Discord where we make it look pretty, but then they were like, damn, I need the functionality. Because we had a Discord prior to to actually launching the F-35. We had like a sneak F-35 before all this, and we had like a bot calendar that we're doing. So we're working on figuring that out. But to reference back to your point of like how many luckiness, I don't know how I get that like that. Sometimes I've been very fortunate, I guess. But the overexposed, I had bought the mechanism. My goal with these guys was like, I'm getting one of those mechanisms.
Yeah,
I'm buying into that. So eventually I flipped my way to buy one of those. I think I got in at like 7.15 for that.
Oh,
and
good.
then so I was already in there, and I just, Hail Mary, of course I'm going to enter in another wallet. Just
Hail Mary. It's a screen pass for you, bro. You even got the extra clay plot too last week when they
you did. I saw that too.
And it was a large too.
Oh, it ended up being a large.
Wonderful. I sold that for 1,500.
I got all three small. This guy gets an extra large.
I ended up getting three out of that mint for the clays. I ended up getting 3 large plots.
Oh,
well, part of it is too, like Tommy casts a pretty wide net. So he definitely buys the most out of us. So in between all those big ones, I mean, there's a lot of other NFTs that are just regular ones. Yeah. And then, I mean, we like to give him shit for it, but I mean, your luck comes in both ways, because you get lucky with those. And then sometimes you've had sales where, like, even without like any reason, you just miss the floor, like the new floor by like a day. Just like you said, Disco Solaris, you sold it for like 90, and then the next day it's like, oh, cool, they decided to come out with an announcement. Now it's 500. Awesome.
Well, Ada Invaders too. Same thing you just did.
Don't bring up Ada Invaders to Devon.
Oh, I flipped mine right away because I was like, I just want a little bit extra.
Up and down a couple times. You're like, I'm not missing it again. I'm selling right now.
Yeah, whatever, man. Whatever, guys.
All right,
let's talk about something else. Let's talk about something else. I was just
PTSD on this.
Yeah, I just those times when you're like, your fingers on the trigger and you're like, what am I doing? Like, let's think a bit more about this. Let's figure it out. You can't just go on feel because you like the way these, like, let's and leave. And we actually did a Twitter space with Invaded Jim, and like just before the mint we were talking, and I was like, this is awesome. And I was telling everybody, I'm like, go mint this, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. And I don't know what happened. I like went back to my real life and was just like, I got shit to take care of. Let's take it easy here. I'm like, you know what? There's going to be many. Don't worry. I know you feel something, but it doesn't matter. And I didn't. And then, and then look at that project. Right. But I look at it, like the marketing, everything for that. It's beautiful. I think they did a really good job. Those guys are seasoned, right? So,
that was one we kind of skipped over just because there was other people covering it at the time, and we just got lost in our shuffle. So it was one of those where like I was going to go minute and see what happens, of course, because I figured it was going to do pretty well. Yeah. I just honestly, it was one of those where like, where you're in so many communities now where I'm just like, I don't have the time and energy to be there. I just want to take my quick little flip and then I'm out, and I don't want to think about it right now, and that's kind of where my head was at with that. Because I think that was the night Future Fest was doing their concert with Cascade. Yeah. So I was just like in the corner, I'm like bopping in this little virtual metaverse, and I'm on the other screen over there trying to sell this Ada Invada, and I'm watching the floor go from like 200 to all night, and I'm like, get rid of it. And then like literally 2 days later, it was up to like 300. I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
What's it now, Ryan? 7?
It was like 500.
550. I just looked at.
I don't want to ever know again.
I did the same thing with Havoc World.
Tommy, didn't you sell a clay for like 18.8 or something?
I minted 3 clays on launch. My blue clay that I still hold was my last like Hail Mary one that I did after an hour after the mint was over, or almost over. And so I sold the other 2. I sold one at 120, and I sold one at 1,000 on the way up. So. I mean, you live and learn on stuff like that. Right? I've also minted 2 chilled Kongs on mint and sold it for 120 and 300.
Really?
So I've had my losses too.
Okay, cool.
So
all
losses. I mean, like you didn't lose, you still came out ahead.
Profit.
Yeah.
He's like, oh man, I only made 50%. Only doubled my money. This is ridiculous. What am I? All right, I got a little bit of a situation. I got a derp bird, like a common derp. Never like incubate, never did anything with the eggs. It's just sitting there, and I was just like,
get that bread,
because I liked it, and that's my problem. Like, you know me,
I
liked it. Dirtbird was like, listen, Devon, I don't want to date anymore, and I was like, listen, I made a hot meal. Sit down. Where are you going?
It's not you, it's me, right?
Yeah. I was like, it's all right. Come back, babe. Anyways, so I was like, Ryan, you know what? Maybe I'll get rid of. What would you guys do if you? Let's pull up my pool.
So how many you own one Derp bird?
It's big. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we were gonna we were gonna pull them all together right before, but then I was just like, forget it, I don't care, hanging on to mine. So I
and then you never incubated it.
I was gonna do my own shit. I went AWOL from the group, and now I'm just like, well, I have a common derp.
That's probably the best thing that you can do, though, is not do anything with it.
Yeah.
Because those derps right now, you're going to be able tomorrow to trade those in for free. So if you have a derp bird, it's a 1-to-1 trade in for that pred. Or if you don't want to trade in a derp, you can trade a derpling and a derp egg to get a pred as well. And apparently I'm reading, I got to do more research into this. Somebody commented on that you can actually stack up the eggs with the derpling and you can potentially get a rarer pred on there. So that's something interesting too. But yeah, if you want to get rid of that common derp bird and you're done with them, go for the pred, go for the Hail Mary. You might get lucky.
I mean, and if you're attached though, you can just get another one on the floor and just, tell your current derp bird, hey, it's just a one night thing. Just only happens one time. I trade it in and it's good to go.
I picked up an epic derper and they were like getting crazy, and I ended up doing the derpling. I ended up doing the incubation. So I have like a problem. Like I was like, I can't break up the family. So I have the father and the daughter that are just together, and I can't just send.
You don't make an orphan out of her.
I don't want to make an orphan, right? Yeah. I don't want a little Jon Snow over there. Yeah. So we're I'm keeping those together, and I ended up picking up recently. And we were talking about this throughout the last couple of weeks, I would randomly pick up derp eggs and derplings. So I think I have 5 or 6 of them right now that I'm ready to turn over for tomorrow. And we'll see what happens with that. But the derplings, that derp team is something extremely undervalued, I think, right now. And they got some cool things in the works.
I'm happy, but I'm proud of them. Like they like I was gonna say, they stuck with it. It's been like 4 months, you know what I mean? It's kind of crazy when you think about how we evaluate this. Like, it's been 4 months, or not 4 months.
They keep just doing their thing. Right?
They just keep doing their thing, head down, and
no announcements really. Yeah,
and it's just like, okay, and I don't know, I'm kind of happy with it.
Well, how many derp apes you got? I love the artwork on those.
I know the drapes.
I got 3 of them. I like them a lot. Just want them to do something.
I think I had 6 of them. I may have given one away in one of our giveaways. I think I may have 5 now, or maybe it's 5 or 6. But I hold on to those 2 because I don't know. I'm assuming they're going to be able to do something with them down the line. But the cool thing about derpers and the team behind them is that, like you said, they're not very flashy when it comes to all the big advertising and things like that. But their technology is like one of a kind. It's like, it was revolutionary back then last year to do that incubation feature, to actually send your derp with the derp egg and then get the little derpling all in one transaction, the multi-sig transaction. Like, that was super incredible even back then, to where they are now, where they expanded upon that, that multi-sig technology, and they helped out Cornucopia set up the reservation window for the bubble jets when those bubble jet sprinters. So a huge project. They helped them out. They actually started their own. They're like a minting service consultant. When we talked to Cardopoly, Bobby and the guys, Drex was saying, we actually got a chance to talk to the Derp team, and they helped us out with the multi-sig tech to connect our wallet to be able to mint your Cardopoly piece. So they're way deeper than just that project. They have like the team, the devs that are very advanced. And that's why I think, like I said, look at the artwork of the Preds versus the Derps. Like, no offense to those Derps are just Derp, right? That's why I was never drawn to them, And no hate to them or anything. It just wasn't for me. But you look at these Preds now, and all of a sudden I got a way different attention span to them. So that's why I kind of picked up, and I'm more than willing to support a team like that, just because I think the artwork on these are even cooler.
Yeah, well said. No, I agree. We talked about the same thing when we were talking about the incubator. We were like, holy shit, you can do that in one shot. And but nothing else has really been able to do that. Now it's happening, but yeah, it was pretty cool. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do, but I feel like maybe I'll cut the ties.
I feel like, just no non-financial advice to you, but definitely advice is get rid of that dirt. Go lock them up and get your pred.
Well, I kind of told Ryan that. Ryan told me a bit, like, he's like, come on, and I was like, all right, I'll ask the boys tonight, and that's literally, it's not.
Well,
it's like,
so think about it like this: you got a common derp, like, right? You got the most basic floor level derp that you have, and you know the value of that right now.
Got a basic red shirt on or whatever it is.
Why not go for the Hail Mary, a little bit of the risk, like have some fun, and maybe you get a rank 4 pred out of that by turning that in. Who knows? Maybe you get lucky, and then that thing is worth a lot more money. It's worth the risk. I feel like
it's gonna happen.
And also looking right now, you got to think people are buying derps. They're going to be buying derps to burn because they want the new projects. The Preds will be the one that people are excited about because it's a new toy that they're going to have in their wallet. And after the Pred release does come out, right now we're probably seeing a nice little current high for the eggs, the derplings, and the derp birds. And once that ends where you can burn them, those are going to kind of correct back down because people aren't going to be buying them. They're not going to have that demand again until maybe the next utility is announced for derpers in the future, or the future of derplings are going to grow up, whatever their plans are. But you're going to see it kind of go stagnant again, most likely. And that's usually what we see with these burn events. So the pred, like he said, at least could have that potential. Maybe they come out and everyone kind of gets behind them really strong. You're going to see that derper kind of go down a little bit and correct. And then you're going to see these maybe hopefully take off. We'll see, who knows? But it could just be one of those things. It's just sitting in the wallet anyway. I did want to say, TJ, you hear how Tommy said, I've just been randomly buying derplings and eggs. He says
sneaky buying too.
He says randomly.
Dude,
yeah,
we call it sneaky. Yeah,
I would say sneaky. I never heard one thing about buying derplings or eggs. Or
I told you guys
got a good feeling about this.
We have a friend exactly the same way.
This is hilarious. This is actually hilarious.
It's exactly the same scenario.
Kind of scary.
He told us to buy them. He didn't say he was buying.
Yeah.
He flipped that story. He said, "Hey, TG, you should grab this stuff. The preds are happening. All you need is a derpling and an egg. This, that, and the other." I'm like, "All right, cool, yeah, sure, whatever." I obviously didn't do it yet, but now he's going and buying them.
What's the other one I just did recently? It was the dead rabbit. So TJ knew I was going to do something. He left me off the other night.
Well, yeah, I got off at it's 12:30 at night. I got to go to bed. I go to work. This man stayed up to 4 a.m. doing rabbit hunts.
I was doing Morse code translation. I was reading the QR codes. I got deep into the lore, and I was like, these things are going to do well. And I snagged 3 of them off the secondary. Yeah, I doubled the profit on one of them. That did pretty well. But those are that little extra bit of research sometimes can be the difference maker. Kind of catch the wave. You can kind of see the wave happening with some of these projects. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the D-bag MFers right now.
I am.
The floor is over 100 now.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Right. What the fuck? Well, if you saw the community people, a lot of the people we knew, especially Tau Crypto over there, he's one of the whales in there, and he started buying all those things up, and I'm like, I should have paid more attention at the time, but I didn't. I only mentioned one. And these guys, are selling for over hundreds of ADA. I saw one of them sell for 3,400 ADA. Yeah. One of them sold for. So
the signals are there. You just gotta. It takes time, and and that's the thing. People are if they don't get it, they don't get it. But the signals are there bit by bit. I think that as we kind of go forward, I'm interested to see the derivative, the ETH projects come over and the derivatives of those and see what they do over here. I know some of them are not going to hit, but a lot of them are, man. And what doesn't, it'll go over to Solana. No one cares about that.
What I'm curious about is going to happen tomorrow, which I know you guys got a chance. I got a chance to listen to the interview the other day with Ren Ellis and 45 Jeff over with Overexposed. Is that mint tomorrow? Because there is the high quality artwork. That's what you expect to see over on Ethereum. It is now about to set maybe a new standard over here on Cardano. So I'm curious how that plays out and how well that continues to hold over in Cardano's world.
Yeah. I'm interested. I'd love to see a Space Buds floor.
Yes, I would love to see that as well. But you just hear that team is doing it right, and I really appreciated what you guys, the basic conversation you got out of them. You kind of humanize them a little bit too. It's cool to hear Ren just be I ride bikes, and then Devin, I heard you guys just going off. I don't know what you guys are talking about right now, but you guys are just loving the motorbikes right now. But it was cool to hear that. It was cool to hear 45 Jeff's story about how he was a manager of was from a car automation or something like that. It was cool to hear where they kind of came from. They were just everyday people too, but they were good at what they did, and they got together to build a really strong team. So they have an awesome artwork that's about to come out tomorrow, and I think that may change up the game a little bit for new projects entering the space.
Yeah, definitely. We and the thing is, before we started, we were there's the same thing we said to you guys. We have a list of stuff we want to talk about, but we don't care if we get to it. We really want to just and there are people, there are teams. Team matters. That's what matters for everything, right? And and I don't think we have to forget about that part of it. And for our podcast, we kind of just want to free flow, and that's I think where our energy comes from, So
absolutely, I love that about your guys too. It's there's no. It just feels like you're just hanging out, like I said, a conversation style.
I love it.
There's no more that pressure of who are you guys? What are you guys doing? How is this? Blah, blah, blah. Right. You don't go down the list. You can free flow and just have a little bit of chillness. You get to learn about people.
Yeah. And the thing is we've been kind of going, I think it changes a little bit about on a weekly basis of how we plan to approach things. There's definitely things that happen that make us excited. And there's, of course, sometimes Ryan will get, it'll be a 5-minute conversation is what we plan for. And then we're on the phone for an hour and we're shit. Yep. It was a good episode and then none of it makes it because we something else happens, right? So we found that like as we spent more time actually going back to what you guys talked about earlier on about like, you know, I was asking like, what other stuff do you get into? And you're like, well, we're so deep into NFTs plus the show production. That's the problem that we're having too. Like, you know, I run other businesses, I do other stuff. Ryan's got a job and 7 kids to take care of. All right, what do you have? 3, 4? I'm overeating dinner half the time, so that's 4 of us at least. But like it does eat into the time that we would spend doing other stuff. But at the same time, we do have a pledge to like, and it started off with like a couple of people to like, we want to inform them on certain things. And there was like a really cool comment that came from Ryan. Who was it again? About their mom?
It was Evo in Serenity Pictures. I think he was something. He was a producer, I think.
Oh, right.
On Toxica.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was talking about how he had the podcast playing. He's like, you know, and his mom was listening to it. And in one of our segments, we were talking, we try to talk about like what stuff means. And I'm always like a fan of asking the dumb questions. I'll be like, yeah, what's that mean? And through that, we've gotten, that's where I think our feedback comes from. So we kind of just said, like, it works. Let's keep it going. Right. So
isn't that the most like rewarding part of doing this? Because we don't ever think about that part. We're just over here talking and having fun. But then you hear like somebody picks up a story or like, hey, I really appreciated what you guys said there. Or like, I'm mowing the lawn today and listening to Freedom 35ers or NFG. You know, that's you know, can you imagine like that? Just seems surreal.
That one guy was like, oh, I made money because of what you guys listened to. And we're like, not financial advice. And that was Ryan's buddy, but like, but like that was like, oh snap, that's pretty fucking cool. Like that was that was a big feeling for us.
And that's what makes it like fun for us too. Like we really honestly, like thank God we have full-time jobs because we haven't really made any money from doing this, right? We made great connections, and I think that's more invaluable than anything. 100%. But I mean, really, I haven't made any kind of money from this podcast. We just do it for the love of it. And obviously, if you want to take it full time, that needs to change a little bit. But you know, we're pushing to there. We don't know where this is going to go, but Freedom 35, right? We're on the journey.
Oh yeah, there you go. Listen, the way you guys are you guys are doing a great job, because I mean, even I'll go to Devon. I'm like, fuck, man, look what these guys are doing. I'm like, you got the production, you got the YouTube. I'm like, you guys push. It's not that we're in competition in any sense, but it's like you drive us to want to be better and get the numbers up and get the subscribers up. And I mean, you guys are doing a great thing. So. Dude, whatever you're doing, it's
and look, like I said earlier on, when I need to do research, I start with you guys. And I'm like, well, what Tommy and Tommy say, right? So right, like,
we'll just bring a project up and be like, at some point, they're over on that podcast, they'll do the deep dive that we say we're gonna do, and then we'll just pass it on to you guys.
I'm like, Ryan, did you do the research? He's like,
nope.
I mean, I did some. I'm like, let's go.
I mean, it's fun for us because, like you said, there's no competition. And again, I think we're probably one of like 2 different podcasts that truly probably talk like strictly like CNFTs. And you guys, I know, are dabbling way more into Cardano nowadays. But I mean, there's no competition in this, right? Like we're also, you know, so early into this whole space, and we have completely different like bias, different things. We talk about the same stuff, but it's completely different to different audiences. So again, it's fun because I like listening. It's, you know, it's great that I can listen back to ourselves. I do listen to us quite a bit just to kind of like see, you know, where I can improve kind of thing. But I also like listening to you guys, like, okay, hey, here's somebody else that's refreshing to get away from what I do every single day. Like when I'm not at work, we're doing this. So it's nice to hear you guys as well. We need that, you know?
Well, it was funny because I think one of the episodes, we were going back to the VV thing. I was like, oh, these guys are talking about VV too. That's awesome. I was listening to what you guys were saying, one of your earlier episodes as well. So it's just cool. Like you said, we're all like kind of, in a sense, coming together, working together, which is cool to see, because we worked with a couple content creators already, and it's nice that no one really is in competition with each other. It's just everyone wants to work together, and everyone wants everyone to succeed in the space, it's great.
Yeah, that's I can tell, like, something that clearly you guys enjoy in your show too is you get to keeping it, like, especially with the longer format of a podcast, you get to be a little bit more like humorous. You can kind of be like more laid back, casual conversation about it, and kind of bring in some like outside humor. Where I felt like, you know, if you're doing like a 10-minute video, not to say that you can't be funny or like charming, but you kind of also only have 10 minutes or 7 minutes. Like people aren't here long. They're just here for the 3 minutes. They just want to know the mint date and the price, and then whether it's going to 100x for them. And that's kind of videos I'm going to make, you know, and you just don't get a chance to kind of express that much, especially if you're pumping out like a video every single day, like you kind of have to, if you're doing those little updates, and you also don't get as much time to kind of get creative with some like the intros or mess around and do some more fun things that we enjoy doing. We're giving ourselves that day in between to edit. And also just a longer format. We kind of get to like be ourselves a little more and kind of like enjoy that side of things of hanging out. Like, cause we've done what you guys have done before too. We'll go to start the show. We should get on about 8:30. We don't sometimes start recording until like 10:30 or 11.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
so glad.
Yeah, Freedom After Dark is like 1 a.m. We say that comment. It's like 12:30, 1 a.m. That's
really?
Like, when we make that comment.
And we'll say like we'll be sitting there talking. We'll be like, "Hey, did you see that news today? Oh man, that was crazy. I think these look so cool. TJ, check these out." We're like, "What are we doing? Like,
we have a podcast for the podcast,
right? Already. Like, why are we doing this? This is one of the topics tonight."
Yeah, no, we do the exact same thing. And usually, I'm just like eating the sandwich, eating the meal, eat my.
He's always eating. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, and then really we get started about 2 hours after we've started talking about things, and I'm like, fuck, like what are we doing here? So I love how it's the same thing. So okay, I was gonna ask, I wanted to go down and see what you guys were looking at or thinking about now, like what other upcoming projects. But then part of me also wants to ask, like, if you weren't doing a podcast on Cardano NFT or CNFTs or crypto or anything, would you guys be doing something else? Like, what else do you guys do? Just
game.
Just cause.
Yeah. TJ, you started off, right?
I mean, it's a short answer. Like all three of us are gamers at heart. Like I was gaming all the time. As soon as my son went to sleep, hopping on game, and I haven't gamed. And Tom and I were just talking about this. We want to play something recently. We haven't gamed and I want to say for me personally, 2 months. Like actually sat and played, like really dive in and play. It's been a while, but you know, like I used to it. Oh yeah, like I tried marketing a bit like before COVID and stuff happened because I've always wanted like a side hustle or a side business. That always was my thing. And like Tom and I, we wanted to start a YouTube channel back in the day. We actually have like unseen or unedited footage of a skit we did like literally 12 years ago. Like I showed him the other day that we still have it. So we've always wanted to do something like with YouTube or just some kind of side hustle thing, but basically just gaming though too, if we weren't doing this right now.
Yeah. I think, for me, I was looking back. I think I actually sent it in a group chat the other day of my FIFA 14 highlights. I used to be a big FIFA player and I started trying to stream for a little bit. We all grew up playing soccer together. We've known each other. Me and TJ, I've known him since he was 4 years old. So we're coming up on like 27 years, something like that. I've known him. And then Tom, I've known him. He was with my brother and TJ and I'm about 8th grade. So we've all known each other a long time. We've all grew up playing sports together and gone through so many different life changes. Like me and Tom were in college and stuff like that together. Yeah. So that always was like video games always kind of brought us together. And I think that's where we always had that kind of connection of being able to chat, just jump on and hang out. So streaming was always something that I wanted to do just because it was something I enjoyed doing with friends. So this was our kind of gateway ticket into, hey, we can still do something with friends. It was not what I thought it was going to be. I can, a year ago, if you told me what an NFT was, I would have looked at you like I have no idea what you're talking about. I wish I would have, because I would have bought a Bored Ape back then and would have been rich right now. And I would have Freedom 35 a long time ago. But same kind of thing. It'll probably be I used to game every single night RPGs, and nowadays I'm lucky if I can jump on for a game of Rocket League if I have time after the stream. I'm getting married next year, so I know that's only going to get harder as
time.
So it gets rough out there, but yeah, thank you, man. And that's kind of my alternative to the NFT world.
All right, so I think at this time we'll kind of wrap it up with like a couple of blitzkrieg, like fire off what projects you guys might be looking at or thinking about, and then we'll kind of end it so you guys like get your night back and can go play Rocket League and like chill out.
We're about to go podcast playing right after this.
I was gonna say, that's not even what's gonna happen. You guys are gonna stay on the line.
We're testing live streams right now. That's our big thing. We're trying to figure that out.
Nice.
Okay.
What Taco Tuesday is a space, Twitter space, right?
Yeah.
You guys doing it tomorrow?
We're trying. So I've been
Tommy loves it.
I love doing it. I just know that as we get busier, I'm losing my time to even be able to do that. It's like I lost another night, and I love because it's with J Crypto, Hidden Order, Cardano Poppy. There's some fun people that come in there too. So I do enjoy the interaction, and spaces are so different because it's not recorded, right? Like it's not live interaction. I think that's why we're pushing to the live streams, just to be able to get that chance. But yeah, man, I want to make it in there as much as I can. It's just my time is starting to get filled up every single Monday through Thursday. I'm booked. Monday through Thursday, I'm booked.
I got negative time right now.
Yeah.
Same.
We were talking about it the other night. We were like, hey, like we want to jump with this project, or we want to talk with this person. Well, when are we available? It's like, oh, well, we got this person. Well, oh, we're busy that night. It's just like, where is the time going? Like, I feel like we got nothing right now.
It's funny. It's almost a great problem to have, though, because like we're starting to turn a corner now where it's like projects are asking us. I'm like, how the fuck do you know who we are? Like, you want to come on our podcast? Like, me and Devon are just two guys that just talk the space. But it's fun to see that. Like, it sucks because you don't have the time, but it's also good because like, people are starting to notice and want to come and have us promote them too. So,
dude, we're the early guys in here right now, right? If we're still doing this now, can you imagine if this actually does take off? Like, we're in a good spot, right? We're establishing our roots right now inside the space.
Yep.
Pretty
crazy. We're gonna have to start opening our Saturday slots on me, Saturday and Sunday, recording here because people are asking to come on, and it's just like, oh yeah. I mean, how's that July sound?
Yeah. Are we gonna see all three of you at CNFT Con? Are you all going?
That's the plan.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah, we're debating. Well,
we're in.
We're in.
I got the green light. I should remind you, like, we should get tickets, like buy our flights.
We had the tickets for the CNFT Con through the Buffy. I had from the Legacy Pass, but I think we all bought the Buffy tickets or whatever they were earlier. Mm-hmm. We just need to book the hotel. I think I'm trying to set that up right now, but we'll be out there. That's the plan right now.
Nice. Yeah. And are you debating booths still? We're in that space where we're like, a booth would be cool to have, but it's like then you're tethered to it.
Exactly. That's our issue. We want to walk around and mingle.
Yeah, there's a lot of people.
Yeah, what do we do? Like, we literally do the exact same thing.
I think right now, we talked about it too when we did the CNFT live with all the the different content creators. You're like, what if we did like a combined booth where we could schedule slots with different shows to be able to that way we can promote it. We'll be there during that time, but we don't have to man that booth all the time.
Ryan literally thought of that. Like,
that's a good idea. Like a podcast booth or just
content creator booth, like whatever you want to call it, right? But that way we have a place to meet with everybody, but we don't have to be constrained because we want to do the same thing too. Right? We want to originally we thought booth, and now we're thinking maybe we want to walk around.
Yeah, that's the same thing we were.
Let's offline this. This is good. That's cool. We'll offline that. But like,
tell us at our booth later this year. No.
I know, right? But we were thinking literally the exact same questions. So okay, cool. We'll figure that out. But CNFT Con, everybody go. It's gonna be great.
So what we're saying, rapid fire projects.
We got a lot of projects coming up in the next, I guess, 2 weeks.
Leaf Laboratories,
and April was expensive, man.
Dude, it's still I always say it's expensive, and then the next week happens, and I'm like, oh, it's still expensive. Like, it's just
it's expensive for you because you get all these white lists and raffles and shit. Tom and I are just hanging out in the background watching you mint all this stuff.
I know. I'm pretty sure my white list, like, I have to spend like 700 this week just to make sure I mint everything.
Excel spreadsheet with all the white lists.
Well, I feel like with the 101 card, the Crypto Boutique 101 card, like, that's gonna be the only thing I do, maybe. They've got a bunch of. There's going to be enough there to keep me, actually busy. So I'm like, I don't know, man. Okay, all right. Ryan, you start or whatever.
Well, Tommy and I, it's Overexposed.
Yep,
is a big one. What's another one? I think Proxies. Cardano Proxies is Friday or Saturday.
30th, the 30th.
Yeah,
I think it's 30th.
Yeah. It's
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday.
Okay. That's gonna be me.
Yeah. Yep. So those are the ones you're looking at. I think for me this week, obviously, Overexposed, I'll be jumping into the Ape Society, the cabin mints. I think we're all going to be minting a cabin for that as well. Yeah. So that'll be something that we're looking forward to.
Our mint's on Wednesday for that, for whitelist on the Cabin Society.
And that's what, like 158 too, right? It's pretty
correct.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, the 27th. Yeah, Wednesday the 27th for the whitelist.
There's that. The Derp birds.
I was about to say I got to do the Derp bird.
You'll right.
I forgot about that already. Whoops.
I think TJ mentioned for me too. I'm looking at Brightleaf Laboratories on the 28th.
Those are cool.
They're super high quality looking art.
I don't even know what that
cool. They look really good.
Those are like that 3D
high quality.
They're very high
quality. Like overexposed a little bit. Almost.
Really, I have not heard about this at all.
Sneak out to all our MFers out there. Horny Sanders, another candidate, has entered Old Money, and they have their own campaign material that's minting, I think, on the 28th as well. So if you're an Old Money fan, that's another one to go ahead and grab.
And Chains of War.
Chains of War on the 29th.
Chains of War. That was
Chains of War. Yep.
Dude, like I said, I don't got time. There's too much going on.
Holy crap! This is Brightleaf.
Yeah, Brightleaf looks good, right?
Whoa,
they're like robotic bodies that have like nature and stuff like intertwined.
I think JPEG Store was tweeting about them earlier today too.
Really? When is that happening?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
You
they're
know what? It's
doing,
crazy. You sit here and you're like, yeah, I know what's going on. Like you feel like you know the space or whatever, and then there's just
and then that happens, right?
Yeah, right. Like
it's insane, but yeah, there's so many like on the list right now that I'm looking forward to. And then on top of that, I'm like eagerly kind of playing the game of like I want to hold on to some ADA because the Claymation map got revealed, but we're waiting for the coordinates to get the metadata dropped. So I'm like just kind of like holding on to some of that because maybe I want to try to snipe a good land plot that's sitting around out there too. So there's a lot of different things out in the open, and on top of that, I'm still silently, but maybe you guys, TJ and them, I'm buying some more Yummy on the side over there.
He's letting you know. He's letting you know now.
I know he's always stacking. If I know one NFT he's gonna be buying, it's always a Yummy. Always.
Yeah. Well, the 4x on the spring rewards are a big thing, and again, Bus just being Pokemon fans in general. So when that game comes out, that is their currency. I'm trying to get as much of that currency because we're doing live opening pack openings on the show one day. We're gonna do some live streams.
That's awesome.
We're that's the goal. I mean, maybe we say that, and months down the road, I don't got fucking time for that, but we'll see.
It took us like 4 months to get a Discord. I mean, we're working on it.
Oh, I want to bring that up quickly. Whose idea was it to do the Discord? Was it kind of a group thought?
It was always the plan.
I think
we had the one before with our buddies, so it's just kind of like we need to open this. We wanted to start a new one because our other one was full of like just personal friends, and it just wasn't like organized or clean anymore. So we're just like, people were asking for it too. They kind of wanted a community to come and hang out and talk about the show and kind of interact with us more.
What we didn't want to happen was just open up a Discord and nobody join it and just kind of crush our spirit. Like we wanted to build a following to know we had like a safe handle to it, right? And I think if you reference, I actually watched back the other day, guys, maybe it was episode 1 or 2, we mentioned, hey guys, if you want us to start a Discord, maybe we're looking into opening it up. So if you like, it's crazy to hear back and then realize like we didn't do that until like episode like I don't know what it was, 12 or 13 or something like that. It was something maybe even longer. I don't even know.
Yeah.
It was 17, I think, actually. Damn.
We want to make sure we do it right too. So we had to look up like what bots to have in there, how to actually run it, how to set up the channels, all that stuff. It's not as simple as it seems, right? We had a YouTube, and like we spent like a couple weeks trying to do it just so we can all gather around, sit down, and look up how to set everything up. So it was a process for sure.
And that's why we also haven't done the live streaming yet, because we've been teasing that now. I don't know how many weeks that joke's been going on now.
Since like episode 2.
Yeah. So we want to do live streams and games, but I think we're getting to a point where we start to feel comfortable at least trying it out. So I think Thursday, like I said, if all goes to plan, that may be the key.
And transitions and stuff, and getting Tommy learning to do the hotkeys, going live and stuff. So that's gonna be
right. So. Well, we're setting up a Patreon.
Okay.
We were talking about that.
What, too. Ryan? What do you got to say about that?
This has been
we were gonna do it too.
It was our ongoing joke for like fucking 20 episodes. He's still going on with it.
You guys are saying 12 episodes. I'm like. Nothing on 20 episodes of a Patreon.
One day. We don't have time. There's only 2 of us.
I know.
We need a third. We need the
Tom to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, would you guys ever go that route of like a visual outside of the audio portion of it?
So we've actually been talking about this, and we think about think about this episode here, right? Mm-hmm. It'd be cool, I don't think we're gonna have like rocket ships and shit and stuff like that, even though, and I'm not saying that in a bad way, because I love that. Like I actually do. I love the theme and everything you guys are doing. You pretty much like it. So
we have
Tom, like, what's your schedule like? What do you got going on?
Tom's about to be up.
We do this on Fridays. We drop on Thursdays, so your Wednesday's free, right?
That's the podcast recording night. It's gonna be a tough night to fit in,
right? We'll just slide in your DMs. Don't worry about it. No, but it's in our roadmap. It is. I think we are literally looking, and I think that's a bit of what the purse is for. I say the purse, but it's like, I guess the NFG's wallet too. Like we are actively figuring the best way to kind of like, get some cash flow.
Essentially, you're crowdfunding yourself through your own.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. Yeah.
Yep.
So we've got a couple of things happening.
We don't have a purse. We have a satchel.
Yeah. we got a little, hey guys, would you like to donate to us? And nobody donated. So we're going on our own.
We'll look into some further production so that we can keep it going, because like all the things you discussed, it's the same issues we have, right? Like we're busy, and I think as we've gotten, and right now we actually have a backlog, so that Ryan and I, we're like, okay, we have to record an episode with just the 2 of us, because we don't have any of us if we don't insert them in with the schedule. So
right.
Yeah, it'll come. It'll totally come, and it probably will have a rocket. So I hope if you guys are okay with that,
dude,
it'll be a different kind of rocket, but it will because I love rockets.
It's fine. We got a rocket, man. If anything, rock the rocket. No, Tom over here, he'll get you set up on some animations if you guys hit him up for a nice little fee. I'm sure. No,
right? You
he's
take
trying to make this. Yeah,
he's taking it.
Right? I don't remember how we ended up with the rocket. I think we were just making. Like we just had to start somewhere, and I was like,
"Well, it's like, what's the freedom? Like we're going
to
the moon,
makes sense,
right?
Like,
to the moon, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I couldn't think of anything else. You're not going to be in a station wagon? Like I'm trying to think of the commercial now, right? Like,
right?
You're like in a canoe or something, kayaking. Anyways, I forget.
Right. Yeah. So that makes, I don't know. Maybe you guys, I would love to see something like that evolve. But again, it's all at your time constraint, and we're all full-time jobs. So if I was doing this full time and I had to invest, that's the other goal, right? Is that we're trying to financially get free to a point where we can get away from those, possibly right, the full-time portion of this, so we can spend more time dedicating to this. Could you guys, real quick for you, could you guys ever see yourself, is that the goal for you, to get out of the day-to-day and eventually be able to do something like this full-time?
Ryan, you go.
Go ahead. You go.
Well, no, it's okay, bud.
I was gonna say, for me, I'd love it. To be like full-time into Web3 would be crazy. I mean, I do got the 9 to 5, and I got the career and a pension and all. What do you guys call pension? 401k?
Yeah, 401k.
Pension, same thing. Yeah.
So I got what, 14 years left, and I'll be 52, and I could retire with a full pension. So it's like, it's hard to give up, but yeah, I would love to, get up and come into my basement and do my work full time, and just, to me, it's not even work.
Yeah. It's right. Exactly.
That's the thing. You want your hobby to make you money. Yeah. That's my goal.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So for me, 100% the goal. Like I said, I do a bunch of other stuff around this too. And, this is like one of the most fun endeavors that I do, because I'm just chilling with, like, we were chilling anyways, right?
Right.
We just monetized and focused our chill sessions. So, it's totally the goal. And I think I'm working to see how I can get that done in the next, I don't want to say dates out, because, it doesn't, you say like, you say 10 years, you say 20, you say 5, who knows. Right. But ideally, I'm looking at something that's got to happen in the next 5 to 10, and then it'll include this and plus the other endeavors, and nice. And I'll be homeless, so I'll just probably live in Ryan's basement.
Yeah, I got 4th kid, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's okay. I'm working on borrowed time right now. I got about a year and a half left before we hit 35, so I got a little pressure on me right now before we hit that. So yeah, no rush, right?
Convert everything to ADA, man. Just keep going, head down.
If ADA goes to $5-10, hey, now we're talking right now.
Yeah. Shoot, guys, listen. I feel like we could probably talk for a long. I was just thinking about. Oh man,
I thought we had this scheduled for like the next 10 to 12 hours.
You're getting caught into our schedule of like 2.5 hours.
I know, right?
I didn't even realize the time. I'm like, oh shoot, this is our longest episode.
This is already our longest episode. And
it would be fitting for us.
Oh yeah,
we didn't ask many things, but like, okay, I guess. Guys, I don't know. I think we might have to kind of wrap it up, unless you guys can each have a final word if you want. Like, I don't have any other formal question, because we've blown past our time. But I don't know, man. It's been really, really great having you.
Sounds
guys
like we need to do a part 2.
Yeah, I'm totally down with the part.
Maybe we'll talk NFTs next time.
Yeah. Well, I think right now we'll already set this. We'll be scheduling. We'll schedule something in tandem around October for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Debrief episodes, like like live episodes during the time. So, this is the first kind of collab of the future to come, man. Well, so
it's a podcast with a podcast, and I think same thing with you guys. We'll see you obviously offline off this, see what kind of schedule you guys have, but obviously it'd be fun to have you onto our side too, and maybe get you guys onto the video aspect too, just to put a face and a name for some people outside of the pictures they see online, right?
Yeah, totally down.
And that'd be fun. So I appreciate you having us on, man. I know it's been a while, I think, and I appreciate you, Ryan, for always jumping in the Discord. I think you're on our OG role, so we got some stuff planned for that eventually down the line too. Sweet. So thank you for the support, and I love what you guys are doing here, man. It's a nice, refreshing break away from our little world, but still being in the same like ecosystem and getting a chance just to hear it in a more chill fashion, where I don't have to worry about. I can just put it on and listen and enjoy it. So thank you guys for having us on, and we appreciate what you guys are doing too.
Thank you for coming on. And thank you for doing the Discord and all that stuff. I mean, you guys are you're pushing me to want to strive to do better, whether it's with everything in the podcast and all that stuff. You just guys keep doing what you're doing. It's fucking amazing.
That's the beauty about doing this, man. We could trade back and forth and all help each other grow. Because if you grow, we grow, the whole space grows, and it just pushes everything forward.
Exactly. Hashtag come to Cardano. That's what we're saying.
Right. Yeah, let's get that hashtag going, man. Come to Cardano. All right, I guess in final word, I'll just say, Ryan, we got to buy some yummies. You
should definitely get in some yummies. If you guys are looking to buy the seasonals because the 10Ks are a little expensive, go for the springs, and that way they earn you 4x rewards for the first month, and then you can move on from there. But no, not financial advice, but yummy advice.
Yummy indeed.
So before we let you guys go, we can't end this podcast without bringing up the fact that Elon bought Twitter.
That was today, right?
Yeah, it was earlier today for $44 billion.
Yeah, he said, I just love the casualness of how that interaction started. Of just like, hey guys, why don't you buy it? And he's like, well, how much is it?
Yeah,
right? Like
who says that?
Crazy. And then he just starts moving shit around. He's like, yeah, no big deal. And he's like, I don't even know if I can really do it. It makes me like the theatrics of this man cannot be just that laissez-faire. Like he look at the companies, SpaceX, Tesla, Boring Company, Neuralink, Starlink, all that. Like, no way. There's no way he's been planning this. He's got some plans. I swear to you, man.
Well, I just want to know, why didn't Twitter counter offer say 44 is not enough? Why not 45? Right? Like, what's 44 billion? Why not the 45 billion?
I think he called their bluff a little bit, and they were just like 44 billion. Yeah, sure. And then he's like, no, seriously, I got that. And then they're like, well, hold on. Wait, let's think about this for a second, guys.
We need to go crunch some numbers. We'll get back with you, actually.
Yeah.
They went all like Dr. Evil, $1 million.
Mine is, you can say a lot. A lot of split decisions. Oh, there's my alarm clock.
But the thing is, like, realistically, they had no actual legal mechanism to refuse investigating the offer. And like, at that point, I think it came down to people just not expecting that he'd be able to liquidate his assets to actually do that, you know. And he even said it, like, I don't know if I can do it, but I don't know. I think he knew he could.
I just think when you have that much money at that point, it's just like, yeah, well, why not? Like, it's in our realm of like,
why not? Why? Like, that's like minus, people are very split on Elon Musk. My biggest complaint is just that, like, if I had $1 billion, you would never see me again. I don't need any likes on Twitter. I don't need to be sharing memes. I don't care about any of that stuff. Yeah, I'm gone. Like, I'm just doing my own thing then and enjoying. Like, I'm just gonna be eating food all day and hanging out with my buddies. Like, I don't need to be doing any of this stuff. It's so strange to me, like how he chooses to spend his time, like the amount of attention he needs sometimes. It's just like, what's going on here?
Yeah,
it's like, hey, honey, guess what? I just bought Twitter. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's about the things he's bought and stuff. It's like, oh, okay, cool. You bought Twitter.
Look what they're saying about it. No, and I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, the SpaceX just isn't enough for him, right? Like, it's just like we're going to Mars. It's fine. Okay, what are we doing over? Let's tweet about it. Like, I wonder what changes are going to come. But if anything, I guess it makes it more exciting for being a crypto investor. Yeah,
yes,
with him being more.
I said something already. I think he even said like. I bought Twitter. What's up, crypto family, or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. I really think. I don't know how, but there's like, look at the integration with your profile pic.
Yeah,
hexagon. I think that is the tiny thing that Twitter did that was huge, well received and whatnot. And there's going to be more and more integrations like that. You guys know. Oh man. Wow. I just had a brain fart, but it's that BitClout or that thing. It's like Twitter, but it's literally looks like Twitter in dark version. And what you're doing is it's an NFT thing, but it's a social media thing where you buy your BitClout or whatever it is, and if the person increases in popularity, the token of you connecting to this person increases. And I feel like that's kind of like a basic idea of a social platform, but Twitter, I don't know. There's no way I don't see that this can be better for blockchain and for crypto as a whole.
Yeah. If anything, nobody's shying away there. I just like the fact that the constraints of, like, if anything, Elon's kind of like an open guy. Like, I know everybody's worried about like censoring and things like that. I feel like if anything, you got a little more loose right now, and you're not worried about it as much, I guess, if you're, depending on what happens with the world.
for sure.
So yeah, dude, it's crazy news over here on a Monday night.
Breaking news.
All right. You hear it here first.
That's the goal. All right, guys, you've been listening to Non-Fungible Guys with Devon, Ryan, Tommy, Tom, and TJ. And that's it, man. NFGs, we out.
Yeah.